발끝이 타버릴 때까지 뛰어 맨발의 청춘을 더 burn it up 넘어져도 상처는 안 남아 더 뛰어 더 위로 뛰어 발을 불어 달려 I'm on a running high 발을 불어 달려
I really have to download that.
You do. And do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Hey, Stay. Welcome to STAYtalk. I am, as always, the host, JC, and beside me is...
I am Chrysalis, and I am just making sure that we are actually, over here. 18 and up at this point.
Oh, okay, that's right. I forgot about that.
Making sure our audience is correct on, YouTube, because, yes, I'm pretty sure it's fine over on Twitch, but, we just need to do this. So, yes, I understand the implications of this action. There we go.
So you don't have an iPhone, huh?
Not an iPhone. I've got an iPad.
No, they changed they updated remember the update and stuff, which is fine. I just have to remember how to do things. Like I can't take a screenshot anymore. Like I can, but it's not easy to save anymore.
Got it. Well, yeah, it's a bit of a mess right now, actually, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Why mine seems to be okay, but
hold on a minute. I'm not sure that we're live anymore on YouTube. This is weird. Okay, 16, 20. Oh no, yeah, there. Nope, we're good. Yep, we're good. I see us. We're okay.
Okay.
Whew. All right. So, hello everybody. Welcome to our Sunday edition of STAYtalk, our weekend edition, as it were. So, and just like we mentioned on Thursday, we were sure that there were going to be things to talk about over the weekend, and there certainly were, because of course we had the Fact Music Awards this weekend, of which our guys did a absolutely amazing job in pretty much taking, I think, every single category that they were nominated in some way, shape, or form. I know they went into that knowing they were going to get the popularity award.
Yeah, that was the one that we all voted, right?
Or yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, that's it. And hello, Jocelyn. We see you. Thank you for joining us again tonight. So we knew that one, but we didn't know. And I think there was one other award that they knew they were nominated for. I don't know which one it was, but there was the possibility, I know, when they were going into it, that they might get a second award.
Oh, okay.
So the fact that they got 4,
yeah,
is just kind of like in yay. And I know everybody is commenting on the that final honor award where they got the Dasang, the Tasang.
Yes.
Not Dasang, it's Tasang. I have to remember it's a T sound, not a D sound when it's at the beginning. And Chris just kind of like not talking, obviously, because I think if Chris had actually said anything, he probably would have started crying.
Well, he did. Did you see the close up?
Yeah, he was
talking. He literally was choking it back.
Well, yes. And it, and I love that. I do love that. And I love the fact that everybody's like, look, it's his realization moment. They've had that realization moment for the whole entire year.
Yeah.
That like this year has been a culmination of, okay, now it's starting to somewhat sink in a little bit. I think that everything that they have done, especially now that it seems like the new contract is allowing even more autonomy than they already had to begin with compared to most groups. It's finally
let's take a moment to talk about Lino's hair.
Yeah. Yes. And I was on Meg's live this week, and her lives this weekend, because I do make it a point to make sure I get her lives.
I have to go join the Discord so I can.
And she was mentioning, so I was not around during the Maniac era. I unfortunately I missed that. But she was pointing out how this is Silver. This is Silverhair. This is how he was during Maniac, because I don't know what it is, but for some reason he was just.
Yep.
I don't know what it was that night. Maybe it's because he's silver haired again. Maybe it's because he had cotton candy. It wasn't just silver. It was, silver.
That unicorn. Yeah.
I don't know if it was that or what, but something has clicked in Lino where he has like, maybe it's because he's finally accepting the fact that he can just be him, like, and his
And people are going to love him no matter what.
That weird that he's talked about before with Han on that Two Kids room where, Han was calling him weird and he called Han normal. Like, that's, I maybe it's just now finally starting to just, I can be this and everybody's going to love it. And love us even more. Like,
right.
Because Lino's he's always been an attractive man. There's no doubt about the fact that man could walk into anywhere and people are going to fall over without even having to open his mouth. Yeah. And we've all known that he's got that, might be a bit tsundere, might be a bit, stoic, and might be, RBF. But we know underneath that there's a lot more than just that, and it's very warm and fuzzy and pet the kitty. Until the kitty turns around and bites your hand, like, but I don't know what it is right now. He's just like,
no, he was on fire. I watched that performance. I was like, Lino's just definitely.
I've always been OT8, but Lino's wrecking a little bit right now. I can officially say Lino is wrecking a little bit right now because it's just nice to see him just enjoying it, like just genuine and like letting it out. Just like, I don't think I've ever seen him that aggressive.
No, he was definitely, he was hitting those marks.
Like even in past performances, even when I've watched even Maniac era past performances, I don't think I've ever seen him that aggressive during a performance before.
Charmer was the only time when they would do Charmer. Sometimes he would get a little bit, but that's what it looked like what he showed. Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. They definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
So that segues into our dish of the day. So why don't you go ahead and.
So dish of the day, going along the lines of award shows, of course, on the tail end of the fiasco that was the VMAs, and on the absolute celebratory that was the TFMAs. We have a lot of people now that are coming back online talking about Stray Kids getting nominated for a Grammy. And yes, we all want to see that. Like, that would be absolutely amazing. And I think we all want it to happen, and they all certainly deserve it. I'm like, even just getting nominated, even if they didn't win, just getting nominated would be significant. Because I think the only other K-pop group in history that's been nominated has been BTS, and that's it, right? Am I not mistaken there?
Yeah. I don't know. Let's Google that.
Let's Google that
while I Google.
You Google that while I continue. So yes, we all want that to happen. And I immediately started seeing people, I won't say harassing the Recording Academy, but like basically going to the Recording Academy socials and, anytime they're posting up something, it's Stray Kids. We need to get Stray Kids nominated. We need to get Stray Kids nominated. And I was curious how that happens. Hello, Stay. But I was curious how that happens because obviously it is not a traditional or easy process to get nominated for a Grammy. I happen to know somebody who is an ambassador for the Recording Academy here in the Southwest region of the US. And they are very, very active with the Recording Academy and promoting, and they themselves are a musician, and they are an amazing musician. And they are also very, very influenced by Asian culture, Asian music. A lot of what Mecca does is influenced by that region of the world, and she's gone over there multiple times, performed in Japan, performed in all over the place, and she's also very much one of those that's trying to advocate for more diversity within the Grammys, especially with trying to get more Asian groups involved in that process. So I reached out to her. I'm like, so what needs to happen to get this group nominated? Because obviously they're killing records left and right. They're showing that they've got, and this was before the Billboard 200 7th consecutive #1. This was I think it was in the middle of the tour. So the tour hadn't even finished yet, and they were closing out records at the tour. As of right now, they are the largest selling K-pop group tour-wise. I'm sure until BTS starts to tour. I would imagine BTS will probably surpass that once it happens. And that's perfectly fine if and when it does. If they do, great. If they don't, awesome. It's, again, rising ship
Yeah.
Rising tide raises all ships. So there's that aspect of things. So I asked her about it. I'm like, how does, because obviously it's not just, blah.
Well, so here's the deal, because there is no K-pop Grammy, so there's not like the best whatever in K-pop. It has to be a general group, because it says BTS is the first and only K-pop act to receive Grammy nominations. They were nominated for Best Pop Duo / Group Performance in 2021 for Dynamite, 2022 for Butter, and 2023 for Yet to Come with Coldplay.
So here's the thing, and I was asking him, like, well, give me the background on this. Now, the way I understand it, based on what I was told by somebody who is an ambassador for the Recording Academy, is that number one, there is some reticence about nominating K-pop groups just in general because of the fact that Asia has so many award shows. So they already kind of have their own environment. She equated it to it's the same reason why there's the Grammys and then there's the Latin Grammys, because it kind of the Latin Grammys is separate. But however, you can get a K-pop group nominated for a traditional US-based Grammy. To do that, though, they need to be nominated by somebody who's already a member of the Recording Academy, who in some way, shape, or form has worked with them or the company.
See, and that's the problem, because it would have to be, to be, BTS is now part of the, that, right? They were invited to be part of the academy.
The Recording Academy, yeah.
Right.
So
other K-pop groups. I thought there was a few others that were.
I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure. But one of the things I have been trying to do is I have been trying to figure out and try to get a hold. I am horrible at networking. So if you ever happen to see this on a replay or whatnot or what have you, and you happen to have viable, verified resources to get me in contact with someone at JYPE that I can then put my contact, who is an ambassador for the Recording Academy, together with, she will gladly assist them in getting somebody within JYPE as part of the Recording Academy to do that. Otherwise, they have to be nominated by somebody that they have worked with in the past.
All right, so
who's already a member.
Okay. Several K-pop artists and producers, including TXT's Youngjin, I'm going to butcher these names, and Hyphen's Jongwon, 17's Woozi and Vernon, and LE SSERAFIM's Han Yeonjin and Zyko have been invited to the Recording Academy's 2025 new member class. Now, the interesting part is Zyko is Kaz Entertainment CEO and producer. There's a Bumzoo producer. There's Slow Rabbit. These are all people. But you know who was invited, and this just gets me? Cat's Eye. Here's a list of K-pop artists and producers who are members. Now, that's big hit too, right? Right? Cat's Eye is under BTS's parent, but the American? I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so that's in order to get them, so you can sit there and blast the Recording Academy on all the social media. But that is not going to do anything,
right?
But it ain't going to do jack, essentially. What needs to happen is we either need to, if we truly want to do this, folks, essentially, is what I'm saying is I have a way to get it done, potentially, but we need to get my contact because they can't nominate them themselves because they've never worked with them.
And what I'm about to say is not a dig on, remember, not a dig on anything, but all the new figures that have been invited are HYBE bands and members.
Interesting.
HYBE and its subsidiaries. Yep. Home to all the new members. So take that for what it be.
Well, and I know part of that's because JYP doesn't necessarily pursue.
No, JYP doesn't pursue a lot of things because they do things by the book.
So,
and that's a conversation in and of itself. JYP has won awards for the fact that they don't do what happens here in the U.S. for a lot of things, which is payola to try to get plays on the radio, to try to do right. that they don't do that, and they've gotten several like awards and like I forget designations, almost like how we have up here like OSHA, like those things,
Yes.
or what is it, the AS 9001 or whatever, when you're in an aerospace or a factory.
Yeah.
There's in Korea, there's like, it's almost like an integrity award, for lack of a better thing.
Yeah, I mean,
He
that's what it
chooses
is.
not to do that. They choose not to use the salons we talked about. He chooses how to do different things. So whereas in the past, and we know this because there's been rumors and truth galore about some of the things that Hybe has done, and that's not denying it. That was the whole thing when they talked about how Stray Kids was short. Remember the documents that came out?
Oh God, yeah. That's when I first started getting into.
All right, so that was.
I don't know all the history.
All right, that was Hybe's files, which is
Gotcha.
BTS's parent company.
Gotcha.
Why there's a big rivalry, which I still say, why? They're second gen, these guys are, or third gen, these guys are fourth gen. There's enough room in the sandbox. Like, stop.
Yes.
You're going to pit them because now they're becoming very popular and they're starting to gain on things. I get that, but they're two different groups. Even their sounds are different.
Yeah, two different focuses, two different, whatever.
Right.
And Chris has regularly said, let's make sure that BTS. Chris has said BTS has paved the way.
Absolutely.
So let's
of course they have, especially over here. I mean, that's anybody who says they haven't. Come on.
Yeah,
give me a break. Of course they have.
But just like anybody,
really appreciate their music or like them, and that's fine. You can choose to like and dislike what you want.
But you need to recognize the glass they broke.
But
for
you
everybody
cannot
else
deny the reach that they had here.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And but
so I don't know.
But to go back, if anybody sees this on a replay, or if I happen to clip this as any sort of social media thing, if you have any way of actually getting a hold of anybody that works for JYPE, whether that is the JYPE LA branch or anybody actually over in Korea.
Remember, Republic Records is who they're under over here.
I have a direct connection that can assist with getting people signed up as the academy. They can nominate themselves if they are members, but they just have to be members. And you don't technically have to be invited. You just need to.
Right.
You can apply to be. Now, I don't know if there's a cost involved with that, and maybe that's the whole reason why JYPE hasn't gone that route. But regardless, it doesn't necessarily have to be the guys themselves. Anybody that has worked with them.
I don't think so, because don't you become in not recording? That's the Grammys. The Oscars. You don't have to pay to be an Oscars member, do you?
You have to be SAG. So
yeah, you have to be SAG or after. Well, after is the TV one, but yeah, you have to be a SAG member, but you don't have to. You don't have to pay to be a member of the Academy of the. I don't think.
I don't know. But regardless, if we could get now, granted, I did something a little different because and I don't want anybody to follow this route because I don't want this person to get harassed either, because it would just completely, totally destroy things. But there is somebody that is a member of the Academy with whom they have collaborated with, who's also a very, very big fan of diversity and has worked very, very, very hard to make sure that diversity is part of music. I'm not going to say the name because I don't even want people to go on anyway. But I went and found, and it's not the problematic one, the other one. And I went into Instagram the other day and I messaged this person and I said, "Hi, you're absolutely amazing and wonderful. And by the way, would you be able to help with this?" Long shot, Hail Mary pass.
Hey, why not?
Who knows? But why not?
It happened.
Exactly. And they are
why
a member.
Not?
They are a member, so they have worked with them directly. All they have to do is nominate them.
Right.
Please, maybe, possibly. But for anybody that
nominate the song you were with apart. That would, I think, goes for this year.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's won other awards. So but anyway, yeah, I did that. I'm like, you know what? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I'm like, okay, I don't want to message this person because that's just problematic. But there is this other person who, let me do this. Just to see. So yeah, but if you see this in the back end, messaging the Recording Academy to try to get the Stray Kids nominated is not going to do anything.
Right.
It is not going to do anything because unless
you can be loud, but and somebody may pay attention, but We need our
But unless-
MTV. We need MTV UK to start putting stuff out. And she's such a fangirl. The person who was on MTV UK is like one of the biggest stays there is.
No, I just got gears going.
Oh,
So
all right. Let's see. I'm glad I said something then.
I didn't even think about that angle. So thank you. That would be. I will have to pursue that when I get done here. That would be the next thing. So because I would love to get them. I would love to get them nominated too. Not to mention, just generally speaking,
Right.
with everything that's going on in the world right now,
Yeah.
to have a Korean band nominated for a Grammy.
Right. Well,
after
here's
everything
the
that's happened.
deal. Do you know who I think could be nominated this year? If you wanted really things, I'm thinking, and it would be the first, I think, animated group to be nominated. I have a feeling that you may see some nominations from K-pop Demon Hunters for Grammys.
Soundtrack wise, maybe yes.
That's what I'm saying, though. People think that they may be able to break the barrier and it would be group, because the 3 girls that performed are still performer. So let's see. It'd be interesting. It would open up a whole can of worms in a conversation, but you can't deny it. I mean, they're number 1 on. They're still number 1 on all the charts. Like they're 1, 5, 7. Like you look at a top 10, and like 4 or 5 out of the songs in the top 10 are from that soundtrack.
It's like 3 Racha on the Kamka Files.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I love. Chan, Chanbin, Han. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's awesome. It's like, but it's exciting because it's like finally people are paying attention. And you know what makes me happy too is because a lot of people, a lot of people from Korea are saying they made the film with them in mind, and they were happy to see the portrayals of the people. There really are the Ajumas that are like that. They really are the fans that are like that. They didn't make them caricatures. They made them actual people.
Yeah, like I mean, that's how. To a certain degree, there's a character aspect to it.
Course, you have to. It's movie. I mean, it's a cartoon, but they gave that cartoon so much art. It's just, I don't know. I've watched it several times, more times than I want to admit. But
we don't need a sequel. We need a prequel. I mean, we could get a sequel. I would love to know what happened to Jingle.
Oh, I think they are doing more. I think there's an interview with Anyo Sap and Maggie Kang on the Netflix Korea YouTube, or I don't know if it's on Netflix, but he sat down and they talked about it, like how long it took to do and his favorite part and her favorite parts. And they just had like a conversation. And I think she said in the next one, he goes, I think Gino's still alive. And she goes, of course you want to think that. And he's like, well, Derpy and Sussy at the end are still there. And so I don't think Gino's fully dead, and he just gave his soul to Rumi, So it
may have just ascended to some other level of whatever. But honestly, I want a prequel. I want to know what happened with Rumi's mom. Mm-hmm. That's the story I want to hear. Like, how did that relationship happen?
Yeah. And Lee Bong-yoon is Guima, so I would love to see if he was always that fiery thing, or was he actually like a person?
I don't know.
You never know.
But since there's, I would love a prequel.
I would take it. I would take anything in that universe more, especially with that animation. I have to say, Sony knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, they did a good job with that.
Because especially, I love that meme where it's got the girls where they're like, yeah, and then like at the end, Rumi's just like, it's awesome.
Well, what I liked about the animation for that is because it was a very palatable animation. Because obviously it was the same studio that did Into the Spider-Verse, and Into the Spider-Verse had its very unique feel with the animation with stuff, which was great, but it was also a lot more anime than what an American or a Western audience was used to.
Yep.
K-pop Demon Hunters to me ended up kind of combining the two.
Yeah.
You had that aspect where it was still a very somewhat palatable, soft, Western style animation, but had the anime elements to it.
Absolutely.
With the eyes, and whatnot.
So I thought about that. I thought about that during Truman, when people kept commenting on Truman in the beginning with Felix and his eyes, and I'm like, that's a very famous anime thing. Like before they get all intense, is their eyes go out and then they come back.
Yeah, kind of like a reset, like they're
right. So that was what they were trying to do, and it just got lost on people that weren't fans of anime, but the people that knew.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they chose to share that as opposed to just not.
Oh,
Yeah, like what is going on? Yeah.
Felix's eyes don't do that. What the heck? I mean, and part of it too is the one eye was dilated more than the other to kind of give it that.
Which they did with the contacts, which I think is funny that it's. I like, I'll put it this way. Do I like that they sometimes look like White Walkers? No, with the lighter contacts, but it in the right context, it works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I like when they do green or like a tone that goes with brown because they don't look so. But sometimes when they pick that bright blue, it's very like jarring. Like I'm like,
well, because it's very plastic. It's very it's very unnatural at that point.
Yeah.
Whereas, because I mean, there's been times I know, like oddly enough, though, there's been times when Felix has done like the red or the pink ones, and they look awesome.
Yeah, they do.
And it doesn't look natural, but
it looks awesome because of his dark eye color.
Well, because of the way he's, and because of the fact that the man's a freaking fae, it just kind of like it makes sense. Like it flows well with the way with him.
You want to know something? I realized it works the opposite too. If you have light eyes and you put dark contacts in, it works the same way because I've tried so many filters with brown eye color and I look like I'm going to like haunt your soul. Like it does not look, I do not look good. I saw one filter. It was a triple filter. It was a blue, green, brown. And that was the only filter with brown eyes where I actually looked semi-normal.
I got to find that one because anytime I have tried to do brown eyes for anything, I look like Winona Ryder. So
yeah, no, I have very
isn't bad, but I mean,
yeah, it's just so it's like I appreciate like when they have their natural eye color. I'm like, it looks so nice. Like please, boys, like please, especially Channy. I like, dude, I love you, but like I love your the way it is.
There are times I generally don't like Chris in contacts at all. Personally, I mean, I don't generally like Felix in contacts at all either. But just I get it because
boys. If you see this, we're not saying that we hate it. It's just this is our preference.
My preference is the natural eye color. There have been some times when Chris has worn a certain color of gray that it works.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, that and it's a lighter gray, but it still works somehow.
Right.
Especially now that his hair's white. Because it just kind of.
No, and I get it. Like I understand why Felix does the lighter color because he's got the blonde hair, and blonde hair and light eyes is very pretty. But he looks so pretty. To me, he looks prettier with his dark brown eyes and his blonde hair.
And it makes the freckles stand out more, so you see more of the freckles. And yes. You know, it's kind of like I almost wish they wouldn't cover up the mole in Chan's eyebrow.
Oh, I know. And Chan's got him. It's got it here and here and here or something.
No, he's got one like in the smack dab center of his eyebrow that you never see because they always like
cover it up. Yeah,
they always cover it in the
bizarre shoot. That's why that bizarre shoot showed a lot. Same thing with Minnie. Minnie's got them too. They're adorable, but they cover them up. And I have to say, I'm gonna like now I'm gonna stick my foot in mouth because I'm going to say this. I like when Hyunjin wears lighter contacts. For some reason, him with the dark hair and the lighter contacts. No, occasionally I've seen him in the lighter contacts where it looks not White Walker.
Occasionally. I'm not a big fan of Hyunjin and the contacts at all either. Because mainly it's because I think it's because it's just the for whatever reason the shade they choose just doesn't. I don't know. But like because he was wearing contacts at the TFMAs and I was like,
Yeah,
I loved it until I got the close up of his face, and then I was like, not that Hyunjin ever looks bad, mind you. Do not come at me, Hyunjin stans. Hyunjin is part of my bias line, but do not come. It's just a preference. Yeah. I am. You know, if we're going to talk unbiasedly about our preferences, I'm not a huge fan of contacts. Period. And I think part of it as well is because they use them so often. Like if they didn't use them as often and they were used more as an accent to whatever the aesthetic is for that shoot, I think I would enjoy them more. but
Yeah.
because they use them like every single time we see them, they've got contacts in.
Because
And
they use it like a piece of a costume. They really do.
Yeah,
like
but
with the styling. Like if the styling is this, okay, we're going to use this contact. Because it's funny. Like somebody else that I like with contacts in certain contexts is in the Venom video. I love whatever contacts Felix had in the Venom video worked, and Chanbin's in the Venom video. Pull up the GIF that everybody uses, him with the short hair, and I don't know if they put like a filter on the camera, but it worked. Hold on, Venom Felix.
That's exactly what I just looked up. I don't need the controller. I want his eyes. Jesus.
Here, hold on. Let me see if I can make this.
Yeah, they're like a gray. They're gray.
Here.
They're gray.
You see, look.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
Blue. They're blue, but see what I mean? Like that, whatever contacts these worked because they look like his eyes. They don't look like that. Yeah.
It's like a gray. It's like a blue gray, but it's a gray.
Blue gray. Yeah, exactly. Regardless, that was a good look. And if you look at Chanbin in that same video, he's got, I think, green on, and it works.
Hold on.
Why can't I?
Oh, that's Venom. Shangini. Come on. Images. Oh, I gotta feed my quokka. Dang it. It's chirping at me.
Yeah, Chanbin and Venom was a revelation.
I can't tell if these are green gray or
they're green gray. Yeah, I think they're like green gray. But they worked. They worked with the hair. Yeah. They worked with the styling. So, chef's kiss to when they did, because Venom's one of my favorites. So, I have a tendency to rewatch.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Give me a second.
What, are you going to feed your quokka?
I gotta feed my quokka. Poor thing has been ignored all day today.
See, that's why I didn't get one. I was like, I'm not spending that kind of money for that when I had one when they were, new, and I can't even tell you what. You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember in high school when they used to have us carry around an egg?
Yes. Or a bag of flour. It was either a bag of flour or
right. Depending on that's what it reminds me of. Like,
did I have to do that? I know I had friends that did, but I don't think I ever had to do that.
Yeah, everybody like made a cute little like thing for their egg, and you'd carry it around to class, and then sometimes it would fall off the desk and like all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's what a Tamagotchi reminds me of. I'm like, I don't want that type of.
I did not ever have to do that.
No,
I had friends that did. I don't know what class they were in because maybe it's because I took cosmetology in high school, so most of my electives were all that because I had to take three. I had to take 3 periods: sophomore year, junior year, senior year, plus summer school between between sophomore and junior, and between junior and senior year to get all of my hours and stuff in. So that was pretty much all my electives for most of my high school. Hold on, I'm going to play a game with him so that he doesn't get completely... Okay. Y'all sit with me for a second while I take care of my quokka. Because otherwise my quokka is going to disappear, and I do not want my quokka to disappear.
I wanted to see if there's anything else. Hold on.
There we go. Okay. We good. Quokka's good.
I was seeing if there was anything that we've... on threads that people were talking about that I wanted to see.
Well, actually, the whole taking care of the quokka and the whole, egg thing with school goes into the other thing I wanted to talk about, which is parenting.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Segway queen, I am. I will figure it out. But the other thing I was wanting to bring up today, because I have been noticing this a lot more lately on TikTok, especially the last couple of days. Now, granted, I know part of that's because the algorithm, like I watched a couple, so now the algorithm's like, here, have more. But something I have noticed, kind of going along the lines with the whole K-pop Demon Hunters into Stray Kids pipeline, or K-pop in general pipeline, and adding to that the metal to Stray Kids pipeline that exists, I have been seeing quite a few newer content creators on TikTok that are doing Stray Kids, generally Stray Kids specific. I haven't seen necessarily any other groups that they've hopped on the bandwagon of yet.
Yeah.
But these content creators happen to generally be folks in their 40s who are parents whose children were watching K-pop Demon Hunters. And because their children were watching K-pop Demon Hunters, they kind of got sucked into that. And then from there, they somehow managed to find Stray Kids. And those 40-something parents all tend to be 40-something-year-old metalhead dads that have somehow managed
emo goth women, metal emo goth / metal / EDM women, and metal dads.
Metal punk guys.
Yeah, yes, punk. I will agree with that. Yes.
And I find it I find it wonderful, but then I also find it absolutely amazing because it's just like, you know, that being my pipeline essentially in and of itself. I find it hilarious because obviously, you know, metal guys tend to have they tend to be
bearded,
not necessarily bearded, but just a
little
bit more rough around the edges.
Right.
Rough around the edges, shall we say. But every single metal guy that I've ever known, for the most part, has been rough around the edges, but an absolute total teddy bear. So on one hand, I think it makes complete sense. But on the other hand, I find it funny because every single one of them to a T, my kids were watching K-pop Demon Hunters. And now there's this guy named Felix that I would die for.
And it's always him. Like, you know what? People are like, oh, the Felix effect, the Felix effect. No, but it's the truth. Like, I've seen so many things, like,
it's the dichotomy of the voice.
Right.
It is.
It totally is. Like, because you look at the face and you expect somebody with the type of voice that I have right now. Not,
well, you know, they're kind of, you know, you're expecting more like Michael Jackson, not.
No, see, I wouldn't even expect it that high, but it's like, but the fact that it's like, you know, as my husband put it, somebody like Barry White, like you expect Felix to be a 250 plus African American man, not a beautiful blonde, ethereal looking Asian Australian.
Fey looking Asian Australian. Yeah, I mean that's just that see, that to me just proves he's Fey. I'm sorry, that just proves he's Fey. Because all they have to do is hear his voice, and now all of a sudden we are.
I mean, they do every show he's on. That the please look at my refrigerator. That's
I haven't watched it yet.
That's not the actual name. I watched earlier. I watched the NCT part, like with Mark
and in my fridge. Yeah.
Channel. I don't know how to say his name. It's like CHENLE or something. But anyways, and I watched it, and channel. I don't know, but they talked about. I guess the host said something about Felix's voice. And it was in a clip, and Lino says, "Oh no, because when he's with us," and Felix goes, "Yeah, because I'm all excited and like full of energy." So, and he like raised his voice, and he's like, "So it doesn't sound as deep." And then everybody's laughing, but of course they had him record like a little like thing for like the American audience, in English. And then and I thought of the same thing, Salon Drip. They had him record it in English too. So it's like,
yep,
Felix, we'll give you voiceover work. Come on.
Yeah, we'll start promoting you that way. But I mean, it's. Do you think JYP like ever kicks himself for having eliminated him, even for a week? You think? Because as much as
you want my honest opinion,
sure, go ahead.
I think part of that was as much as how do I put this? I think there was an element of they were going to pick somebody to eliminate, and they happened to pick Lino and Felix, but I think that was part of the bigger picture, so to speak. So
I can see that. Yeah.
I think he was always planning to bring them back, but wanted to add some
tension.
You know what I mean? The boys didn't know this, but JYP did.
Oh yeah.
So
add some tension to the
exactly.
Add some drama.
Yeah, I think they picked them two on purpose. I think that was a thing because, and I think they picked Felix on purpose because of his attachment and his camaraderie with Chan. And to make Chan again,
Yeah.
I'm saying this by saying I don't think the guys knew, the boys knew, but I think corporate or knew. But I think JYP would have kicked himself had he not decided to do this and totally
brought them back.
Right.
Yeah, because when he brought them back, he was gonna they were gonna debut as 9. Like there was
right. That's what I mean. So that's what's part of it, is that I think it was all controlled, but I don't think the boys knew that. So that's the general reactions from Lino and Felix and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, I can agree to that, because just based on the way reality TV works.
Right.
I mean, it's
the same way over there as is over here with reality TV. I've watched enough of the Korean reality TV shows like Singles Inferno, and there's got to be
the tension. There's got to be that drama. Otherwise, you don't have a show. Nobody wants to watch it. It's you have to have
the rooting for them, because then you were rooting when they came back. You were like, okay, we want Felix and Lino to succeed, and it was like you're
exactly
hooked,
invested.
Right.
It's part of the parasocial relationship to be invested.
Right. So that's my honest opinion. I think, but I do think JYP's laughing at himself now, saying, "Oh, that was a stupid move on my part."
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's, well, I mean,
but it adds more to the story now. I mean, when people watch it, like if you came in and you're a stay now, like let's say you become a recent stay.
Right.
I haven't really watched all of the reality show. I've watched bits and pieces. I watched
all of it.
Did you see? Because part of me doesn't want to just. I don't want to get even more aggravated with JYP because of it. But I have watched clips and whatnot, and yeah, so I see how hard they have worked to get from where they are to where they are now. So I can appreciate that fact. But I think there's some people that they're like, I just can't watch it at all because I can't imagine what it's like. Like when Ben was doing the rewatch, and he's like, or before he was doing the rewatch, he kind of posted clips and he was going through, and he's like, "Where's Lino? Where's Lino? Where's Lino?" You know what I mean? Like he goes, he even knows like that Lino's part of it, but like he's like, "Where's Lino? Like, why'd you do that to Felix?" Like, you know what I mean? So it's
and I mean it's so I went back and rewatched it. Because I know how reality shows work. Actually, like I've been close to people that have been partook in one that never actually went anywhere, but I know how it works. I know the premise, like I know how all the little tricks and things that go into doing it. So I watched it, obviously knowing what the outcome was.
Right.
But then I did it because I wanted to get a better idea of their foundations. Because you see them as they are now, and they're amazing as they are now. I, being the liking to dive into people's heads and the psychology of things and how people tick and what makes the brain work and whatnot, I watched it more from that perspective. Like, we all know the Chance of Workaholic, and I'll keep going. Chance of Workaholic, and was up all night pulling all-nighters and whatnot to get stuff done. We all know that Hyunjin worked his butt off to not be a visual, or just be a visual, and to actually do, to learn to dance, to learn to rap, to get all these things done so that he wasn't just resting on his laurels and his looks, because that wasn't who he was. Exactly. I wanted to kind of see the dynamic when they were 9 people compared to 8. Just because there's a different dynamic there that happens with that. And so I wanted to see all that to kind of get that back. I wanted to get the backstory, essentially. And to see the interview that he did, that Chris did with, I think it was Bam Bam, where he was talking about, when he was asked, what type of leader do you want to be? And he's like, well, I want to make a family. I want us to be a family. I want to listen. And he's been like that since day one.
Yeah.
And plus you hear all the time about how scary Chan was when he was a trainee leading up to debut. And you don't really you see it some on the reality, on the survival show. I don't feel like you see that much of it. Like, you really don't see that side of Chris much personally when you watch the survival show. And I think it was edited out for reasons, obviously, but but you do see enough of that, the stress that was on him to make sure that everybody was doing a good enough job so that they could all come with.
Right.
So no, I don't think the guys knew at all what was going on with Lino and
Behind the
Felix.
scenes, yeah, that sort of stuff.
Because I guarantee you, if Chris had known that that's what they were going to do, he would have stopped it.
Yeah.
He just would have been like, nope, no, I'm not going through that. I'm not doing that.
You know what's funny is when you, how do I put this? When you want something real bad and you work hard at it, but it gets taken away, so to speak, you work even harder if you're given that opportunity again. And that's exactly what Lino and Felix did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Felix really put his pedal to the metal and learned Korean quickly. I mean, more so than I think anybody else could learn it in that little bit of time. You know what I mean?
Right? I mean, because every single time I see something about, how quickly K-pop idols learn Korean that don't naturally speak it, that don't, that's not their mother tongue, as it were. He's always the one that's learned it the quickest. I think there's been one other K-pop idol that's learned it faster than him. And it was a girl, and I don't remember who it was, but regardless, he's like the top two when it comes to the idols that learned it the fastest.
And I do have a feeling that Korean was probably talked in his home because his sisters can speak it, and kind of thing, like when you see little things here and there, and his mom.
Well, he mentioned it on Jewelbox. On Jewelbox, when he was on Jewelbox, he mentioned the fact that, because they asked him, they're like, well, when you came here, you didn't speak Korean. And he's like, well, no, I didn't. He's like, it was spoken in my house, but I always answered in English.
Right.
He's like, for whatever reason, I just did not want to learn it. He was, obviously his sisters did, Rachel and Olivia did. So it was spoken in the home. His grandparents spoke it. I think that's all his grandparents spoke by the connotation that he gave in Jewelbox. But he just refused to learn to speak it. He understood it, but he just always answered them in English.
Right.
And I have a feeling that's probably because of the fact that he's a kid growing up in Australia and born and raised in Australia. And do you remember there was a TV show, I think it was Fresh Off the Boat is what it was called.
Yeah, it was Randall Park.
Yeah, and it was a Korean family that moved and relocated to Orlando. And the way Felix described like that aspect of things reminded me of the oldest son in that show, where it was like, nope, I'm Australian.
There's also a show called Kim's Convenience that had it's Simu Liu of all people, but it also has the gentleman. His name is Paul. He's in Star Wars. He's the only pilot in Star Wars, the very famous Asian pilot in Star Wars. I forget. He's one of the TIE fighter pilots, but he was on it. He played the father, who was like a Korean immigrant in Canada, and his wife. And they talk about, and like the daughter and the son speak English, but like in the home they'll speak like some, they'll speak English, but some Korean and stuff, and then and they'll answer back in English.
Yeah. So it's just like, that's such a weird dynamic to me too, to be like, okay, I'm understanding it, but I'm gonna answer you back.
Well, it's like Lino, because I think Lino understands English, but he'll answer back in Korean.
Yeah, but that's true. But but like.
Because I love, and I observed this today. So I happened to see, I saw pictures and clips of Dispatch with them talking to Felix and then talking to Hyunjin and then talking to Chan and whatever. But I ended up going back and just watching. I wanted to see how crazy it was. And again, I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't as crazy as it was. But anyways, the Dispatch lady, or Dispatch Nuna, speaks English on the camera while they're waiting. Like she speaks because she knows there's people watching that don't. So she'll do some words in Korean, but she'll say, hey, we've been here for 4 hours. We're waiting. They should be here, or they're late, or whatever. But she'll say it in English, and she'll always say, thank you for watching. We appreciate it and stuff, which kind of, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. Like I know that people are watching that are, Yeah,
that's knowing your audience. I mean, essentially. And Dispatch is, for as much as Dispatch is also at times problematic in how they, their National Enquirer
pretty well, though, I have to say. Whoever she's a stay that goes to the airport for them.
Yeah,
especially.
she does. She seems to be one of those like journalists who does she takes her job seriously. So regardless of the fact that it's for Dispatch because Dispatch, I've got the Dispatch boxes that they said the Dispatch magazines things that they did. I've got Felix and Hyunjin's of those from last year, and they do. There is journalistic integrity there. They do there is stuff that they put out that is valid journalism, fact-based, whatever. They also tend to do a lot of, page 9, National Enquirer, start shit because let's start shit type pieces.
Yeah.
But she definitely seems to be one of the more, I'm going to have integrity with what I'm doing. And I've got, I'm here to cover these guys. So I'm going to cover the guys, but I'm going to do it.
Right.
The way, and I mean, she always has SKZ with her. So it's like, she's always got,
I think Bokhari and Jinnarat,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So because I there was a point in time when I did watch the like when I first started getting into this, and I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. And I understand the premise of it. Like I get it's part of the fashion. It's part of the fashion culture. It's part of their contracts with the fashion houses that they're with. And because Korea is very much superficial isn't the right word.
No, but I know fashion conscious.
Image is extremely important. Any TikToker that I have seen that it lives in Korea, especially expat TikTokers that live in Korea, every single one of them to a T will sit there and tell you, how you look when you walk out the door is going to extremely affect how you are interacted with.
Right.
Especially as a foreigner. So it's important that, you pay attention to those things. I would probably have a damn hard time in Korea. Because I'm tattooed and I've got facial piercings and I wear t-shirts and jeans every single flipping day. Like I get that. Like I am not fashion forward at all and have no intention of being. Or if I did, I would look like a Harajuku girl probably, but that still would get me in trouble. So regardless, I understood it from that perspective when I first started watching. Excuse me. I stopped watching it when I stopped watching the travel departures and arrival stuff. It was before the really bad one.
I remember, yeah.
With
one with Lino and the security guard that pushed the girl and not Lino, even though they said it was Lino. And I was like, no, he put his hand up with the security guard, which I would have done a heck of a lot more than just pushed her. I would have.
Yeah, the one where it was like, everybody's like, oh my God, I love Chan Angry. No, you don't want him like that. That is
no, that's when he went off a bubble for how long? He literally closed it down. It's like, dude.
That's also when I wrote a really, really long letter that if anybody sees this on a replay and you are interested, go find my threads. Because we do promote our individual stuff. I should probably pin it again because it's happened a couple more times with other groups since. I literally wrote a fact-based, data-driven reason because it was also around the same time that they were debating having a separate entrance for celebrities at Incheon. And I wrote a very fact-based, logical, non-emotionally driven letter about the reasons why it's important that if you're not going to do a separate celebrity entrance at Incheon, then the companies themselves need to start implementing better security practices, as well as the airport itself. So the airport and the companies need to have a better partnership when it comes to security practices, because somebody is going to get hurt, seriously hurt at some point in time. And I wrote that letter out. I provided links to various news articles in Korea to substantiate things that I was bringing up. And then I ran it through, I want to say 3 different translation services to make sure that I had a fairly accurate Korean translation of it. And then I also proceeded to go through and look up all of the email addresses for every single production company in Korea, to include not just Kpop, but also our actors and actresses, just promotion or entertainment in general, because obviously it affects them as much as it does the Kpop groups, as well as every single fashion house. because the whole reason why that exists is to help promote the fashion brands. So every single email address for every single fashion house. So Fendi, Versace, Louis Vuitton, Benedetta Bottega, all of them. I don't know how many hours it took me to kind of go through and try to find all this information. But I have all of that. It probably needs to be zhuzhed up and be a little bit more recent. But if you are interested in that, it is on my threads. You are welcome to use it. It is a link to a Google Doc that you can literally go up there, copy, paste all the email addresses and send it off. Just because, again, that's one of those things that as more people, that's one of those instances where people speaking up and saying something, especially internationally, and especially if you can kind of engage the fashion houses to look, this is what, I don't know if you guys are paying attention to what's going on with these people when they're wearing your stuff, but you know, somebody eventually is going to get hurt, and they're going to get hurt wearing your stuff, and your name's going to be attached to it.
Right.
Is that a PR stunt you want type thing? Because though we as individual fans might not be able to influence overall, if we can get the fashion houses to say, okay, wait, then maybe, just maybe, we'll have more success. And if you've noticed, when it comes to the individual travel, that does tend to happen. There's been an uptick of security for the individual travel. Now we just need to work on the group travel, but
it seems like there was more this past time. I have to say that there was more security surrounding them.
It does seem to be. Though what I did see the footage of them arriving at Macau, and like the literal box of people that were around them was like, okay, all right, you're taking, it's somewhat effective. I mean, it works, but you get enough people pushing in, and eventually that, you know, it's not necessarily a strong enough phalanx to be able to.
Wow.
But it was better than what they have had. So
yeah. So we'll have it's a work in progress. We'll have to keep watching. But it seemed like when they left the last time, they went through it was a semi-private entrance. Or a semi-private thing, because even like Dispatch went from the beginning, then went in and then ended up on the other side, but it was more, you know what I mean? So I still don't understand why they should just allow some of the press and that's it. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, because I think because an airport's still technically considered like a public, it's not a public space. It's one of those. It's just like over here in the U.S. It's like a mall. You know, a mall. Everybody.
No, I know, but I mean,
not
here. I mean, even. But I'm thinking here they don't. It's like people don't show up. They used to.
Well, before 9/11, yes.
Yep, they used to.
And that's the difference between here and
there, right?
And everywhere else is purely 9/11.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Because if 9/11 hadn't happened, we'd probably be in the same situation. Like, you know, there'd still be people at the gate waiting for them to come out.
It's true. It's true.
You know, because even now, even here, it's not as prevalent. But even now here, when people figure out what flight they're on, because it's not that once they're on the flight, it's not that difficult to figure out what flight they're on.
Right.
And you've got plenty of time to show up at the airport if you wanted to.
No. Sorry.
And then
I know how I feel, so that's why I'm like, I'm the last thing. I mean, I would be pissed. See, if I did a Hey Stay about this.
Yeah.
I said, you think they want to look at you regardless of how great a fan you are when they're on a 12 or 16-hour flight coming back from somewhere? No, I'm pretty sure they just want to go get something to eat, go home and get some rest, or even just do nothing.
Shower, gym, food. That's all that's going through those men's minds when they get off a plane.
Right. So it's
shower, gym, food. Not necessarily in that order. Maybe. Maybe, I don't know. But, you know, maybe a second shower if they're depending. But shower, gym, food. That is all that's going through those 8 men's minds when they get off a plane.
Yeah.
I just want to and bed. That's anybody that has been on a flight.
Something, or just scrolling aimlessly, but not being accosted at an airport.
Genshin.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's all they're thinking about when they get off a plane. Because I mean, if you think about it, even just us making our little intercontinental flights and whatnot, where it's like, okay, I've been on a plane for 6 hours. I'm exhausted.
Yep.
And especially if you got a layover.
Yep.
Like,
Sorry.
I'm
Folks.
sorry. No, that's all that is going through those men's heads when they get off the plane.
Yep.
Shower, food, gym. Not necessarily in that order, but those are the 3 priorities. I don't care who you are.
So now that as we're finishing up, I just wanted to say one idea. So I didn't realize Han went live yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
And Hyunjin went live the day before. So why are all of a sudden? It's funny to me that we're getting these lives again. Like, do we expect to see somebody else besides? Because Sungmin's going to be in.
Well, Sungmin will probably do a birthday live.
I'm
the
sure
question
it's
is what
point, but when and what time. But I'm thinking, like, I wonder if anybody else is going to.
So I know right now we've got Sungmin confirmed for Burberry. We've got Chris confirmed for Fendi. We have Felix confirmed for Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
And we've got Ian confirmed for Benetta Bottega.
He did confirm. I didn't think we did. I thought we had confirmed that Hyunjin was Versace.
No, we don't have confirmations for Versace and Gucci yet.
Okay.
Now, if Lino is going to Gucci, Lino would have had to leave today.
Right. And so it looks like.
So probably not.
Right.
But we're most likely going to get a birthday live from Sungmin. I don't think we're going to get a live from Chris when he goes to Fendi, only because his birthday's next Friday. So will probably him teasing a live, I think, was him teasing his birthday live. I'm going to go live soon. I'll do it later.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, he may surprise you. He's been known to do that,
and he may very well do a live while he is in Italy, because that's the last time he did a live was when he was in Italy. So I don't know. He seems to be very comfortable there. But I'm not going to anticipate a live from that man until his birthday, because he doesn't like doing them anyway. Like,
yeah, I know.
He got better things to do, like level up Lauma, than try to do whatever. We might get one from Felix, but then again, he's not done a live the last couple of times he's done a solo trip either. And he just did his birthday live.
Yes, he did. He did the live where he burped on camera and said, "Excuse me." That was from Paris.
Oh, yeah.
That was when they were in Paris.
Yeah, that was like a quick little, like 15, it was like a 20-minute one. It wasn't a very long one.
No, I'm just saying, but he did do it. So, I mean,
so I don't know. I think it's possible that we're going to get some lives. It would,
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We're going to have to, because realistically speaking, the ones that do the most lives anyway have always statistically been Hyunjin and Han. So, especially Hyunjin, the whole just get on and draw some stuff and talk to Stay and be a
meditative guru for everybody that needed just a little bit of peace for a little bit.
Disgusting mosquitoes and
pizza.
And pizza. But yeah.
Well, let's see what's
also, we need to give 2 shout outs, because we have some subscribers on Patreon. So, and that is part of their memberships. So hold on one second, because I know I can't remember all the names. And granted, there's only 2, but we would like to give shout outs to Yaritza and to Grace Joy. So thank you both for being a part of our Patreon and our first 2 subscribers on Patreon. We are unbelievably ecstatic to have you on there. I know there's not a lot in there yet, so it's even more appreciative that you guys have joined so early. I've been starting to try to put stuff up this week to kind of go along with your membership levels, and so that you guys have some stuff to interact with. You do not know how unbelievably appreciative we both are. Oh, so Jocelyn's Yaritza. Yay! Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you. So we will, we're going to try to add more stuff to it. I am in the process now of trying to get more stuff up there. I'm trying to do some more just stuff in the background. I'll
have some pieces up there too. It's what you're doing, JC's Cafe Corner. Is that what we called it?
Yeah, we were gonna do so one of the things that JC is gonna do is she's gonna kind of do like a blog style post and whatnot for us.
I may even
And
turn it into a vlog if I feel like doing some of the dances and stuff. We'll see.
yeah, whatever. Or yeah, your dance practices would be cool to put up there, just because of like a little whatever. But the so we're gonna have that on there, and that's gonna be her cafe corner because we're doing the whole God's menu theme on our Patreon. So since we are coming to the end, and we're kind of segueing into that as it is, if you have enjoyed the show today, thank you very much. We have not figured out what our schedule is for this week. We'll be doing this after the show. Because I looked at my calendar before I got on. I'm like, we don't have a schedule yet. So we will figure that out after the show. And that will be posted on our socials once we have that figured out and established and settled. But if you have been here or if you catch this on a replay, thank you so very much for spending your time with us today. If you are interested in following along and knowing when we're going to go live or to take care of any of the content that we are putting up elsewhere, all of our socials are available in our bios. They are all over the place. We are trying to coordinate our Patreon and Discord and all that other good stuff. So if you want to be a part of the Discord, you do need to be a member of Patreon, just so that you're aware. And we are working on building those up. So again, thank you to our lovely onboarders, our first ons with Jocelyn and Grace Joy, and smash buttons, blah blah blah, yada yada, press likes. You know the drill. Social media has been around for long enough now. We know how this works. So if you want to get us out there so more people see us, that's how you help us out. Even if you don't want to like go do the social things, we get it. But in the meantime, we are going to pull this down for the evening, and we're going to finish up for today. So I'm going to end this the same way we do every single time, and the way I always end my threads, which is now let's get out there and be the best damn fandom that Stray Kids deserve and make our guys proud as hell. So again, thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate you all, and however you consume us. That sounds weird. Anyway, with that being said, night all. Bye.